Good morning. So, I am really pleased to introduce Colette Rashad. She is the visionary for the Children's Museum of Sonoma County, which just opened its doors about a year ago. I've known her for probably 7 or 8 years, and various different keep bumping into her. Anyway, I'm really happy to have her here. If you have not been to a children's museum elsewhere in the country, well, you don't need to anymore because you can do it here in Sonoma County. But children's museums are really amazing, hands-on, exploratory learning centers where you don't even know you're learning because you're having so much fun. So really happy that we've got this finally launched, and happy to introduce Colette and tell us about it. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Turn it back on. It's called rebooting.
While we're still waiting, wanted to announce that we're still really looking for swim instructors for the Rotary Swim Program, which starts on Monday the 20th. The classes open on Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday, and we really need swim instructors. So those of you that are retired, you don't even need to know how to float, but show up.
As Pam said, my name is Colette Rashad, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Children's Museum of Sonoma County. We have actually been around since 2005. We started out as a simple museum on the go. thing was I became a mom back in 1999. And in 2001, roughly, I visited the first children's museum with my children, which was the Bay Area Discovery Museum down in San Diego. And I absolutely fell in love with it. Finally, I found a place where I could enjoy and learn right alongside my child. I found a place that I didn't have to feed quarters into a machine. I found a place where my child could roam freely and safely and learn while playing. And I just thought, wow, this place is fantastic. There has to be something like this up in Santa Rosa. I live in Petaluma. I lived in Petaluma back then. And I thought, surely Santa Rosa has a children's museum. How can it not have a resource like this? So I came back to Petaluma and I looked around and there was no children's museum. So I was a software designer at the time. So my job was to create children's interactive games for George Lucas. So on a daily basis, I was creating worlds in the computer, and I was working with programmers. And so I thought, hey, after visiting the Children's Museum of the Bay Area, I thought, well, I could do this. I've been doing this, but now it's working with real stuff. And after having my child, I realized how important it was for children to actually play with real stuff. You know, it was fun to design computer games, but physiologically, they're sitting there with their hand on the mouse, looking at a computer screen. The rest of their brain is kind of shutting down. So, you know, as a designer, it was really fun to design these games and work with an extremely talented group of people. But now as a mother, I really wanted something more for my children. I really wanted them to use their entire body, to get out, to feel, to touch, to experience. The way I did when I was a kid, and the way I can't let my child now go out. Because, you know, when we grew up, I don't know about you, but I would run out the door, no shoes on my feet, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd be out into the neighborhood, and when my tummy started to get hungry, I knew it was time to come home for lunch. We would roam the neighborhood. My parents had no idea where I was. I would never let my own children do that today. And I haven't. I'm afraid to let them go out in the front yard and play. So to find the Bay Area Discovery Museum was like, oh, finally a place I can relax and I know that they're getting something good out of it. And again, I'm not having to feed quarters into a machine. I'm not having to sit there while they run around in a bunch of tubes that I am personally claustrophobic and can't stand to go inside of. So as my career in the software industry, and I starting a family, I realized I wanted to just be a mom. So I stopped work, but the idea of a children's museum just kept going around and around in my head. So I started researching it, and I went to my first children's museum conference, and they had a whole day-long seminar on how to start a children's museum. So I came back, put out an email, anybody want to start a children's museum with me? And I had 5 people say, yes, we'll help you. That was back in 2005. We had no money, and I was a mom, and a stay-at-home mom, and I had the time, and my husband was very encouraging. So I made some exhibits, put them in the back of my Honda Odyssey van, and we started taking them out for free to various public events. And over the years, we kept growing and growing and kept making more and more exhibits, hands-on exhibits, and I started visiting a lot of children's museums around the country with my family. And we started getting a lot of interest, so much so that teachers actually started coming up to us at these events saying, hey, we'd like you to come to our school and do a presentation with your hands-on exhibits for our children. So we started doing that. We kept building and building, and all the while with the idea of opening up a children's museum, a permanent home. Again, with very, very little money. But back around 2008, the Junior League of Napa-Sonoma gave us some seed money. We were able to buy a trailer, which then I hooked up to the back of my Odyssey van. And then we made more exhibits. And then around in 2010, we started talking to Jeannie Schultz. She had some property right next door to her museum that had just opened in around 2004. And she was looking for a partner, a symbiotic partner, rather than the church that had been there for many, many years. She really wanted a partner that was something in line with the museum that she'd opened up. So she said, you can have this property, you pay the property taxes, and you go out and you get the support for this. And if you can do it, you can build the children's museum here. I'm not going to give you any money, I'm going to give you the land. So she gave us the land at $100 a year, but we do pay property taxes. At that point, we also simultaneously heard about a grant from the state of California to build outdoor nature education centers across the state of California. And all nonprofits were eligible to apply for this grant. We could have applied for up to $7 million, but we weren't open yet. We were a traveling children's museum, but that was it. So we took a chance, we wrote the grant, and we asked for $1.8 million to create in the front area of the land right next to the Schultz Museum an outdoor garden for children. And amazingly enough, we got the grant. And that is what got us really, really started. We launched into figuring out how to build the garden. We designed it, developed it, and the space, if you've driven by, we're on West Steel Lane. If you know where the Schultz Museum is, right next door, west of the Schultz Museum, on West Steel Lane, there's this church that was there for many, many years, built in 1978. It's about 5,000 square feet. It's pushed way, way back from the street. So a lot of people drive and go, what? Where? Because a lot of times you just never even notice that church back there. But the whole front 36,000 square feet is what we developed into Mary's Garden. Mary is short for Mariposa, Spanish for the word Mariposa, butterfly. So Mary is a butterfly, and it's her life cycle that is the theme of the garden. And then kind of branched out from that is how her life cycle is connected to all of nature, our environment. So we have things, and then what makes Sonoma County special? So we have things like a 60-foot long running Russian River. We have a garden, an actual garden, and Harmony Farm Supply here in Sebastopol has been very generous about giving us plant starts. So we have a garden, working garden in that, where kids can actually pick things, smell things, taste things. We have an art studio on the property that was developed from the old farmhouse that was on that land. And then we have a birthday party room. So we've been open now in that space for 1 year with phase 1. And phase 1 is Mary's Garden and the art studio. We have, in the meantime, after we got the garden open, we started working on building the inside and doing a capital campaign to make that happen. So between the grant that we got from the state of California and the money that we needed to raise to create the inside Science and Imagination Gallery and also toddler space, we've raised almost $8.3 million. We're about $300,000 away from meeting our goal of $8.3 million. So phase 1 is open. We've been open for a year. We projected in the first year that we would see about 50,000 visitors. We have seen 57,000. And that's with only a partial museum open. That's not even with the main Science and Imagination Gallery yet open. So we're about a month and a half away from opening the interior Science and Imagination Gallery. And inside there, just like the outside really highlights Sonoma County with the Russian River, being able to fish salmon out of the Russian River, not real ones, fake ones. We also, on the inside, we have a Sonoma County Main Street. And inside these different places within our Main Street, we have a dental lab, a medical clinic, a train station. We're going to have G-scale trains going around the gallery above everybody's head. We've been working with the Redwood Empire Railway Association, Garden Railway Association to build that. We have a hardware store that Reedman's Home Improvement has helped sponsor. We have a tree house that you can pull, you can put apples down tree trunks and then bring them back up again with pulleys. And then interspersed in with all these really wonderful places, there's also science exhibits. There are different science type of exhibits that have things like air pressure, magnetism, and just ways of different science phenomena, and all the while giving kids the opportunity to just use their brains, and do it in the way that they want to do it, through play. And nobody's telling them what to do, nobody's hovering over them, saying you gotta do this, you're gonna do that. So, as going back to, again, why I started this whole thing, I really did it from a personal place. I wanted my own children to be able to experience this. They're now, my youngest is 13, my oldest is 16, so they're a little bit old for it. But they've seen a lot of children's museums up to this point, so they've visited a lot of them, getting me to this point. They were my little test guinea pigs along the way. But I just want to say that, starting out from a personal place, what happened was, as years have gone by, there's been more and more research coming out about how important that 0 to 5 age range is for children, and what a difference it can make for children to have good, strong, positive experiences with their families at this age that have repercussions into their adult years. There's a Professor James Heckman, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, who says that for every dollar you spend on a child between the age of 0 and 5, you're saving $7 down the road in less criminal, less health issues. So through the years as I've done this, it's become a real passion that this is so important for our children to have these experiences. They're the building blocks at this age that get them ready for preschool, that get them ready for the science, technology, engineering, and math careers that we all think are important. But it also gets them ready to be artists, gets them ready to be creative thinkers, which going into the 21st century is what we really, really need. We really need our children to be excited, to be thinking in critical ways that we can't even imagine. The jobs of the future, we don't even know what they are. They're changing so quickly. So these places, children's museums, have really become, what we had as children running around in our neighborhoods. They're sort of like big giant museums. And they really open up the minds of the children in ways that it's hard to do in school. And it's not to say that we're trying to replace school. That's not it at all. School is very, very important. This is a nice thing for parents to do with their children. I had a mom say to me, this is the one place where I can relax with my children. I know that they're safe. I know that they're having a great time. And I don't have to worry about them running out into the street or getting picked up by somebody. So that's kind of my spiel without my handy-dandy slideshow here, so I apologize for not having that. I invite you all to come out and see the Children's Museum. You have to see it with your own eyes to really understand it. You're welcome to come out. All you have to do is say you're a visitor from the Rotary Club. We'll give you a little visitor badge, and someone will walk you around the Children's Museum. We don't let people come in without children normally for safety reasons. So, but you're very, very welcome to just at the front desk say, I'd like to view or take a tour of the Children's Museum. And one of our playologists, the staff that works out in the yard, they're called playologists. They'll come out and give you a tour of the museums. Like I said, we're about a month and a half away from soft opening the interior gallery, the Science and Imagination Gallery, and we plan on a grand opening June 20th. And I'll just end by saying, the Children's Museum is for all children in Sonoma County. It is a regional resource. We are trying very, very hard to make this accessible. We're in a low-income part of Santa Rosa, so we work with a lot of different agencies with what we call Family Access Program. passes as they think they need to be able to pass out to families in need. We also give scholarships. We have corporations that give scholarships to memberships. We have right now we're getting about 5 to 6 inquiries a month for people wanting membership scholarships, and we do that. We are a membership-based organization. It's $90 a year. You get unlimited access to the Children's Museum, or if you want to come on a daily basis, you can come in at $7 a person, and then you can apply that to a membership. We had estimated, or we projected we'd have about 1,500 members after a year. We now have 2,300 members. So we have more than almost double what we thought we would do. And this has been incredibly well received by our community. So I invite you all out to see it, and if you have any inclination to volunteer, we always need volunteers in many different ways. So I'll happy to take any questions that you might have.
Hours of operation?
Yes, we are open Tuesday through Sunday, 9 to 4 p.m. We do have a members hour, so on Sunday mornings from 9 to 11, it's just supposed to be for members, but and most of the time we let anybody in during that time, so 9 to 4 though. Mondays we're closed, but on special holidays like Memorial Day, Labor Day, and MLK Day, we will be open on Mondays.
What's the size of your staff?
We have 15 people right now, 7 full-time, and then the rest are part-time. We hire a lot of people from Sonoma, or from our SRGC, Sonoma State, as playologists, and then we have about 7 managers, including myself.
I want to say that my granddaughter just got a nanny about 3 months ago, and I wasn't even aware we had this museum over there, but they joined and they love it. So they're there frequently, and they're posting pictures all over Facebook about what a wonderful time they're having, and I want to say thank you for doing that, because most of us here were raised in a time where you could go out, like you say, your parents had no clue where you were. But nowadays, you can't do that with your grandkids, and you need a safe place.
You might get put in jail. I mean, there's the whole free range thing. Those
Yeah.
parents who let their children,
Yeah.
their 5-year-olds walk up in the park, and they actually got put in jail and charged with criminal behavior. So as a parent, it's almost, you're in danger of letting your children have that freedom now, which is very sad. It's very sad. Yes.
So does it feel like 10 years from the idea to reality?
Yeah. Well, when I look at my children, it does. My youngest was 4 when I started. Like I said, he's 13. Right now I'm really still feeling like I haven't really finished the job yet, because the main building isn't open yet. So maybe when that gets done, maybe it will. I'm still just like climbing. I feel like I'm still climbing that mountain, but the mountain doesn't feel quite as steep anymore. It was pretty steep there for a while, and we had no money, and it was just like, is this ever gonna happen? But now it feels like people finally get it, and they understand the value and the benefit of it. So, thank you.
Is the new gallery inside the church?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we used the church, and we haven't expanded outside of the church footprint. So yes, we're all inside of the church at this point.
Colette, I'm really sorry that we weren't able to see the pictures. I've been, in fact, was an early contributor to helping you guys get off the ground, because I thought it was such an exciting opportunity. And I love where your location is, love the development, like the creativity. And the question I have is that I haven't seen. Is there a cycle of new, as you use something for a while, will you change it? Like when are I went to the LA Museum, the Children's Museum, and got all excited about the dress-up room where you would dress up in fireman clothes and things like that. And they had Velcro on it, so you could throw yourself against the wall and stick.
Oh, yes.
That's
very
When's that one already help?
So the inside gallery, we only have 2,800 square feet of indoor space, not including Tautopia. Tautopia is going to be for toddlers 2.5 years and younger, that's another 400 square feet of space. But, you know, we do not have, you know, typically
So
children's
can we put it
museums.
outside?
What?
We'll put it
Oh,
outside.
yeah, okay, Velcro, okay, I love that idea, by the way. But we're just trying to get open at this point. We have lots of room outside to do new things. It's not even listening.
So that's what happens with kids, they get distracted.
Yeah, I know.
We have time to get off the wall, I don't know.
But we're trying to get open at this point, and then we will start to change things out. But typically, an exhibit has a 5-year cycle, and then you change them out. Now, if we were a big museum, and typically children's museums are 10,000 square feet of indoor space and bigger, we would have a changing gallery. We don't have the room for that. You know, I chose to go the route of really packing it in at this point, because it's not that much space anyway. So we packed a ton into the space, so that hopefully, you know, there will be a lot of children, a lot of excitement about coming back. Now, the thing about, you know, children's museums are, you know, they're called children's museums, but, you know, a lot of people will argue that they're really for adults. They're really for parents. And I think, you know, for most children, you know, it's like that good night mood. I mean, they love doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's the parents who get bored. So I understand that, and I know that we need to do that. And I guess our plan, or I would say our plan, is to do it through programming. And we always are trying to have new things going on, pop-up programs, activities, things that bring people to the Children's Museum that are a bit different. The underlying foundation will probably stay roughly the same for a while. I mean, until we can raise more money. I mean, it's, you know, it's all money. You want to write us a check for a painting gallery?
Colette, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah,
You did an excellent job. Well, I apologize profusely if this guy's seen his last show. And I have a couple of things for you. Number one, this is our keynote for Polio, and it's in a really bright, unbreakable bottle. I would settle for there. But, excellent, you know, and with that was a contribution. And then the last thing is, we have a little door prize. And if I can get you to draw it. All right, so somebody out there has one of these mini tickets. If you draw one and just read the last 4 digits.
Okay. 2058.
2058.
One less. One less. All right, try it again.
Okay? Okay. 2052.
Now, so we've got some money here, but we didn't have cards before.
Somebody should just get the money.
Well, so be patient.
Oh, thank you.
I'll do
Nancy Wilson, you won last week and you didn't get to draw a card.
Oh, yeah, it was me, it was me. Julie Mantel.
Oh, Julie? Okay, Julie, come get an ace.
Yeah, I'll get better for you, Richard.
It was me, it was me.
Okay.
Somebody else pick.
So the shuffle is up just a little bit. It really is. It's one of those cards. That's a jack. Okay, Richard, your chances are better now. Okay, so so let's get these spread here. And a 5. Okay, so the game continues, but you get this handy dandy cheese kit from Winn Dixie. So there you go. And let's see. Somebody has a joke.
It's a surprise.
And I got a joke for you.
Okay, have a volunteer.
There was a little old lady driving down the road in Austin, Texas, and she reached the bridge over the river. And up at the top of the bridge, there was a young man about to jump off. He said, "Young man, think about your life. You don't need to jump." He said, "My life's terrible, I'm going to jump." And she said, "Well, think about your wife." She said, "My wife left me last week, I'm going to jump." He said, "Well, think about your children." He said, "I don't have any children." She said, "Well, think about the Alamo." He said, "What's the Alamo?" He said, "Thank you very much, go ahead and jump."
Roll mine out.
Okay.
You need some sensitivity. 6 times.
Praise to you.